They have interviewed Gerard Johnson, their quarterback coach, for the offensive coordinator gig. From what I understand, the interest that the Jets, with Aaron Glenn, the new head coach, have in Gerard Johnson has been a bit overstated. But Gerard Johnson and Bill Lazor on the Texans' current coaching staff are being considered as offensive coordinators. Also being considered, Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, who doesn't call plays. Also, the target I'm hearing is the most likely candidate, if they go out of house, is Nick Kayley. You've probably heard of Nick Kayley. Nick Kayley interviewed for the Texans offensive coordinator gig back in 2023 after they'd hired DeMeco Ryans. This is a guy who has some ties to Nick Caserio because he was an offensive assistant with the Patriots when Caserio was an executive in New England. He coached the Patriots tight ends there, and he went to the same school, John Carroll University, as Nick Caserio. So Kayley does seem like a candidate where the Texans are going to look at him, have familiarity with him, especially if he is a wanted target. So if I had to bet on who the next guy would be, I'm going to guess it would be Nick Kayley, who currently with the Rams is their tight ends coach and passing game coordinator. We also learned why the Texans moved on from Bobby Slowik. This is in an article from Aaron Wilson of Channel 2. Quote, DeMeco Ryans weighed the direction of the offense, the upside and downside of making a change, and the input of key players in formulating a decision that was ultimately entirely his call, per league sources. Multiple players spoke candidly, expressing concern about the direction and philosophy of the offense, the play calling, and a general lack of production and consistency. That wasn't the sole factor in determining this difficult decision, but it was a consideration per sources. From what I understand, it was a lot of the key figures, including C.J. Stroud. I don't think Laramie Tunsil ever really bought into Bobby Slowik. I think Tank Dell, with perhaps good reason, wasn't a fan. There are other names as well that I heard. Aaron's article has this quote as well. A loss of confidence in Bobby Slowik, including from key players, frustrated with the regression of the offense, was another key factor in the decision made by DeMeco Ryans, who shared an office and is close to Slowik from their time working together as assistants in San Francisco. From what I understand, there was a specific moment where the team lost confidence in him, and it had nothing to do with things that happened in a game. It's a pretty interesting story. Again, I don't know what is and what isn't, but it was a piece of gossip that you hear and you think to yourself, damn. I can kind of see why they might be out on him. So I'll just leave it at that. We talked about them moving on from Bobby Slowik on Friday. I think most people are happy that they pulled the trigger on him. I do wonder who the next person will be. And I am a little bit concerned about the possibility of them staying in-house. Because in-house this year has been a bit of a mess. Another option for them, he ended up taking a job with New England. Thomas Brown, who they've interviewed before to be the head coach of this team back in 2023. And Mike McCarthy, Doug Peterson, two names that a lot of people are suggesting they are only interested in head coaching gigs based off of the reporting I've read. As far as Chip Kelly, he has been floated as a potential name. I know D'Amico Ryans likes him. The Texans are going to have to spend to get him. Are they willing to spend? I would think so. I bet they'd spend on D'Amico Ryans.